Crispy, chewy, and sweet. If you've been to Spain, Latin America, or the United States, you've probably eaten a churro. But this delicious fried treat might not come from any of those places. Although it's hotly debated, churros might originally have come from a Chinese delicacy. How did they become the traditionally Spanish dessert we know today? And where does the name come from? A famous chocolatier? A Chinese general? Or a breed of sheep? Get a café con leche to submerge your churro in like a true Spaniard, and we'll have the answer for you in a minute. What does someone have to do to get a churro here? Well, you could go to a fair. In the U.S., this fritter snack is a staple of festivals, carnivals, and amusement parks. Where there's fun, there are churros. In Spain, serving churros with a mug of hot chocolate or coffee with milk is the way to go. San Ginés, a famous chocolatier in Madrid, sells about 90,000 churros on an average day. The traditional recipe calls for flour, water, oil, and sugar. But this treat has been modified many times. For instance, Disney World sells churro bites, but it adds butter and eggs to the batter, turning it into a cake-like churro-shaped treat. Disney's recipe is far from an authentic churro. But could the traditional Spanish churro also be a modification of an even older pastry? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Your favorite Spanish fritter might have evolved from Youtiao, a Chinese breakfast food consisting of a couple of fried Chinese breadsticks connected in the middle. The result is a puffy food that is crispy on the outside but tender on the inside. Sounding familiar? This tasty Chinese delicacy also has a cool legend. Youtiao's origins go back to the Song dynasty, whose leader, advised by his wife, executed a well-loved general. In protest, a cook made a dish with a pair of breadsticks shaped to look like human bodies, resembling the dynasty's leader and his wife, and symbolically fried them in hot oil. Ouch. That's how the delicious breakfast got its nickname of Youtiao, which translates as deep-fried ghosts. Goosebumps, anyone? But how did the recipe get into Spanish hands? That involves yet another country, Portugal. It's likely that Portuguese sailors brought Youtiao to the Iberian Peninsula. The Spanish liked their neighbors' snacks so much that they put their own spin on it. They passed the dough through a tip shaped like a star and created the signature ridged churro shape. But Spaniards have another legend about the origins of the churro. They claim that nomadic shepherds invented the churro because they needed simple and filling food. Baking bread wasn't exactly an option while roaming the mountains. Food historians say this story is credible since the word churro seems borrowed from the name of a breed of sheep called the Navajo-Churro. These sheep's horns are shaped like a churro, so that makes sense. Whichever story you choose to stick with, one thing is true. You can't possibly enjoy churros without a good cup of hot chocolate. But do you know that the addictive sweet drink is made of a bitter fruit first used in the Mayan Empire? If you want to know how that evolved, you'll need to watch the next episode of Origins of Food.